let me invite Zoya. Hi, Zoya, can you hear me?
Hi, Naman. Hi, everyone.
Okay, so guys, we are starting with the session now. We are going to discuss about the interview prep session on AI, ML, and data science. We have some listed questions over here, and Zoya is the one who is going to help us out to have the best answer to basically to make sure that we are able to answer it correctly. Am I right, Zoya?
Yes,
Okay,
we are
so
here to help you.
sure. So Zoya, I'm going to basically read out the question one by one, and you can explain the answer and the structure of the answer to everyone over here. Okay. And then I'm gonna basically rephrase it. If I think that student needs more re-explanation, I'm gonna do that. Is that okay? That is how the structure is gonna be.
Yes.
Superb. The first question, Zoya, Zoya, would you like to introduce yourself before we actually start with the questions?
So, hi, everyone. I'm working as a data analyst consultant here at Thinkcloudly. I've had 3 years, 2+ years experience as a data analyst at one of the UK companies. And I'm spending my time here to help you guys via Thinkcloudly. Just the way I got into tech, I hope each and every one of you will get into it. So let's move on to
Sure.
let's move on to the first questions, Naman.
Sure, sir. So, Zoya, the first question I would like to ask on behalf of our students, could you please introduce yourself and share a project you worked on related to data or AI?
So, okay, this is how I would answer. So, hello, hi, I'm Zoya. I recently graduated from Masters in Computer Science with a focus in data science. And for my final year project, I did a sentiment analysis model for movie reviews. I used Python and scikit-learn, and I did do an internship where I learned about how to use SQL and Python for analyzing real-time data sets. Since I enjoyed solving problems and finding insights from data, which is why I'm interested in data science roles moving forward.
Okay. So, Zoya, would you mind to repeat it again for our students and how are you going to structure this answer?
So my structure would be my background from what is my qualification, right? So even if I have done a master's or a bachelor's, or if people are not even done master's or bachelor's, if you're working, maybe if you're working in sales, that could also be a background. Or if you're just doing a boot camp, that could also be a background. It's basically getting your foot in the door, telling that I voluntarily did do a course, or I'm actively working into something which is related to data. So in data analysis, you just have to pick up any niche and have to try to explain that this is where I have used data. So since I was a fresher, if I'm a fresher and I don't have work experience, I will tell I worked on projects where I've used certain technologies of Python or scikit-learn or SQL, and how did I try to retrieve certain insights from that particular data set. And if you have done an internship, you should, and you it's a positive thing that you have gained a real-time experience using data sets, using live data sets. Otherwise, if you don't have experience, it is always a plus if you have gotten a certification either from Thinkcloudly or any other certifications like AWS certification that Thinkcloudly does for you. You can add that as well. So you have to start with a background of how your journey of how you're actually getting interested into the data science field.
That's great, Zoya. I mean, that is so true, everyone. I mean, a lot of people have this question that, Naman, I'm trying to transition into IT and I don't have any background. But I think Zoya actually answered it very correctly that no matter if you have bachelor's in AI or not, no matter if you have master's in data science or not, or no matter if you have work experience, you can still mention whatever boot camp or whatever training program you have attended in the past, and you can always mention that what actually helped you to gain interest and little experience on this AI or data analyst position. After that, just to summarize, make sure that you mention some of the projects you had worked. Probably some of you are attending a program with Thinkcloudly on AI and you do a capstone project with us. You can definitely mention those projects with with the interviewer, but make sure that you mention the technologies. If you don't mention the technologies, then there is no point of mentioning the projects because you are solving a problem with the help of technology. After that, outcome of those projects, if you mention that, it's going to be very helpful. If someone has done internship or any other project, maybe a volunteering project or any project, you can mention, but that is optional. Okay. And then if you have any certifications, do mention the certification. This is the structure everyone has to maintain, because I would like to tell you one thing, that data science and AI is actually getting popular in the market right now. Probably a technology which got popular from 5 years ago in the job market. So it is quite okay to mention that you have been attending the boot camp. That is also fine for the recruiter and acceptable for the recruiters. Sounds good, everyone? Are you noting down all the answers we are gonna be giving you? Do you have your pen and paper ready to note down all the answers right now? Please make sure that you do it. No matter if you are doing some other program with us, I request everyone to note this down. It's gonna help you somewhere in future. Zoya, are we good to move forward?
Yes, Naman.
Wonderful, thank you. Moving on to the second question now. Why do you why do you want to join our company and what excites you about working in data science? This is a question, Zoya, for you.
Okay, so when an interviewer asks this question, it is a very nice spot to impress them that you are actually interested when you in their company, and you do a background check before you get into the interview with the person, right? So how you could answer this is, I admire how your company is using technology to make so and so. So whether you're working in an education field, whether you're applying for data analysis in a healthcare field, whether you're applying as a data analyst in a finance sector, any sector, oil sector, sales sector, any sector, right? So admire how your company is using technology to make education, in our case, education more accessible. I want to learn and contribute to real world problems. And I believe working here will give me exposure to challenging projects with complex data sets in data and AI, right? And what excites me about data science is that it allows me to find patterns in data and use them to solve real world problems and help that using that data in order to impact people. So any company that you're applying, so for example, if you're applying for Google, if you're applying for Amazon, you do a background check on what they are working on. So there's a healthcare company called IQVIA. So you tell that you are interested in understanding data, doing data analysis in that healthcare field, because working in healthcare field and helping people solve their problems via data ignites you, and you're passionate about that. So that's where this is like, you're really telling this is a really good question. Whenever this question comes up, it's basically giving the interviewer a kind of an insight in your mind. One, that you have done a background check on about the company that you're applying for, and two, how you're going to use that data and AI to basically support and help the company grow. And I don't think anything less than that would make them get you, not want to select you, basically.
Great, great. I think, Zoya, this is a perfect answer because, guys, even when I or my team members take an interview to hire someone at Thinkcloudly, we are interested. Like, let's say all the questions have been asked about technology questions are done. We are done with technical questions and management questions. We always love to ask this question that why are you choosing Thinkcloudly as your company? Why don't you choose other platforms? And what excites you to join us in this particular team? This is quite one of the common question which or with recruiters or hiring managers can ask because they want to know how serious are you to join them. And this also becomes the opportunity at the same time for you guys, because now you can impress the recruiter, but only it is only possible if you study well about the company and the projects they are involved in. Let's say if you're applying for Amazon and if you go to Google News, you will be able to see a lot of questions, I mean, a lot of news what they are doing in the tech space. For example, in their warehouse factory, they have so many robots, right? Or they are doing some data analysis projects, what they are running at scale. So you can definitely admire company projects they are involved in and express your interest that yes, if I join you, then definitely I'm going to learn because of the exposure I'm going to get from your company. So that is a very good thing what basically Zoya is mentioning over here, and I'm sure that you guys are going to follow the same structure and same pattern. Okay, thank you guys. So moving on to the third question, Zoya, how would you handle missing values in a data set? This is a technical question, Zoya, for you. So can you help us out, please?
So, when such a question is posed to you, when you had like how would you handle a missing value in a data set? One thing is you need to tell the the techniques that they are basically checking two things. One is what are the techniques that you're going to use to handle missing values, and the application basis. So you will have to tell something like this. So first I check how much the data is missing and whether it's random or follows a pattern. If only a small row of data or rows are missing, I will drop them, because if it's a very small amount, it will not affect the large chunk of data set. But for numerical columns, I would use mean and median imputation, etc. And for categorical variables, I might use mode. So now you're explaining them that you also are aware of statistical terms and how are you going to use them. If the data set is complex, I'd also consider advanced methods like KNN imputation. So when you tell something like advanced methods, they will understand that you also have knowledge of something when things get complex. So when complex data sets are given to you, you know what method to apply. So you know from a smaller data sets, what would you do? And for a larger data sets, what would you do? If your data sets are numerical, what you would do? And for the data sets that are categorical, what you would do? So that's how I would frame my answer.
Great. So yeah, I think this is the perfect answer. If somebody is asking you, how would you handle missing values in a data set? I mean, what interviewer is trying to do is trying to check how many techniques are you aware of? What are the applications are you aware of? So first thing, what Zoya mentioned, that we first check whether this basically how much data is missing. If it is like a lot of data, then definitely it is impact the result. But if it is data is very small and it is not impacting, then we will reply in a same way. Then we have to follow a pattern, see if it is like the data which is missing is following a pattern or it's a random missing. And also, like if data is complex, then we will apply like KNN computation, which is again a new technique so that you can find the missing values in the data set. So this is a like little technical question, but this is again a most asked question in the interview. Moving on. Okay, one moment, Zoya. There is some discussion going on in the chat. I want to pick it up real quick. So someone is saying that the recruiter had said the company was confidential and waited to the last second for telling me the company and address. Richard, if the company is hidden, definitely you will not be able to talk about their background, and then you will have to basically you can ask a question to a recruiter that what projects am I going to work on. It is completely fine to ask the hiring manager and a recruiter that what project, what technology am I going to work. If they mention any project or any technology, then you can try to admire them that this is the technology and this is the project I always wanted to work. So no matter if you like, if in case you do not know what company you are going for the interview, what project you are going to go for, please ask a question. Can you please tell me what project am I going to work on? What technology am I going to work on? And then express your express your express your interest to work in that project. That is how you have to answer that question, Richard. Okay, I hope I could able to explain that. Second, I want to basically answer the question of Bami Dele. See, I request everyone to keep a single resume only. This is my request to everyone because now or later you're gonna start apply for jobs. Keep a single resume. You can make a small change to your skills section, but don't change your resume entirely, because every recruiter, every organization has the ATS system. If they see your multiple resumes starts dropping in, then they may reject you. Okay. So make the change in your resume only and only recruiter ask you to change it. So there are times when you will see recruiter or recruiter will come and request to change resume. Only in that case, change your resume. Otherwise, use a standard resume. Change only skill section if and only if you want to change something. Okay. Sounds good, everyone. Are you able to follow me till here? I request everyone to just respond in the chat box if you're able to follow us. Super. Thank you, everyone. Okay, I want to move to the fourth question now, Zoya. Have you used
Yes.
supervised and unsupervised algorithms in your projects? How will you answer this?
So here is what I would answer. Yes, in one project, I used logistic regression, which is a supervised algorithm. I used that to predict if the student would pass or fail based on their attendance and grades. And for unsupervised learning, what I did was I worked on clustering the students' activities, activity logs into groups of fast learners, average learners, and those needing some extra support or extra guidance. So that was helpful for the project to grow and get insights for any future decision making.
Okay. So guys, what Zoya is trying to tell you is that if somebody is asking you whether you used both the algorithms, the answer should be yes, that you know both the algorithms, and whatever examples you have, because now Zoya is working with EdTech, so she has examples with EdTech background. She's talking about student clustering and students about students because she worked in EdTech, but probably you must have worked in different projects during your capstone project, during your boot camp project. You can mention both the projects to answer this question of supervised and unsupervised learning, but yes, you have to answer both of them. That is what is the intent here. In what situation would you prefer a decision tree over a neural network? I'm sorry, sir.
So again, it's similar to the previous one where it's a technical question again. So this is how I would answer. Decision trees are faster to train and don't require much feature scaling or pre-processing. So if I need quick results to be able to explain it to any business stakeholder, I would choose decision tree so that I can give quick data analysis to the stakeholder. But neural networks are better when the accuracy is more important, scalability, accuracy is more important, and when you're having larger amounts of data and you have time to do interpretation of that data, then I would use neural networks. Otherwise, if something it is quick and the stakeholder wants something quick, I would just go ahead with decision tree.
Super. So I'm sure that people who are aware of decision tree and neural network, or they will be able to relate with this more. The decision trees are faster to train, and if you need to show the quick results to your stakeholders, then go with decision tree. But now, when it comes to more accuracy, then you think that accuracy is more important for your use case and the project, then please use neural network, and this is how it should be answered. Okay. So I hope everyone could able to understand this as well. Moving on, the sixth question, Zoya, how would you design a simple recommendation system for students choosing courses? I mean, okay, this is like a scenario-based question now. So let me repeat the question for the students, Zoya. How would you design a simple recommendation system for students choosing courses?
Right. So again, this is a scenario-based question, but they're making sure that you know the technicality behind it, right? So people who are into recommendation, who know about recommendation systems, we know there's context-based and collaborative filtering. So if you want to answer something like this, it would be something which are on these lines. So I'd start with context-based approach using features like subject analysis or difficulty level and duration of the courses. So for example, if you want SQL, or if you're learning a language like Spanish or English or French, So those are context-based approach. So I would apply that first. Later, I would improve the system with collaborative filtering, where recommended or basically recommending courses that other similar students have chosen. So this, if the students of from a similar college or a similar university have taken those courses, that collaborative filtering will help to push the newer courses to those previously passed out or previous or students from the already students from a particular university ideally. So you have to with this scenario based, you are ideally making sure that you are telling the interviewer that you know about context based approaches and you know about collaborative filtering.
Superb. So Zoya, I think you are giving the answer in a very appropriate manner, because the way you are giving the answer is very structured and very, that you have a full control on your answer. So, guys, if you can pay attention, what Zoya is trying to do is Zoya is trying to answer this scenario-based question where you have to create a simple recommendation system for students so that they can choose the next course. Okay, let's say you all are student with us and you have to pick the next program with Thinkcloudly, then how will you do it? So there are two techniques. One is context-based approach and collaborative filtering. If you mention these two approaches with the example, then I think that's gonna work out. That is what Zoya is trying to explain here. Okay, the seventh question, Zoya. Imagine you are given student feedback text data. Okay, how would you analyze it using AI and ML? So you have a feedback data and you have to analyze with AI and ML.
Correct. So again, it's a scenario-based question, and they are checking again the technicality of it. Okay. So this is how I would answer. So this is, you have to realize what he's asked, what the interviewer is asking you is about NLP. So this should fall. So the first thing when you think about text data or anything, the first thing you should think about is natural language processing. What can I do with it? And then you move towards the steps of what are the natural language processing. There is a procedure for it. You follow those steps. So the answer would be something like this. I clean the data by removing the stop words and the punctuation. Then I would use some data techniques, NLP techniques specifically, which is TF, IDF, to convert those texts into numerical features. Then I would train a sentiment analysis model using a logistic regression or naive Bayes to classify them, whether it's a positive review or a negative review or a neutral review. And for better accuracy, and if I have more time in hand, and if it's a long-term project, I would go ahead and use something like a pre-trained model like BERT. But I would also like to add here, if you are very sure about how BERT works, please mention it. If you are not sure about how BERT works, you can just stop where you're telling that you would just classify it in positive, negative, and neutral. Always use terminologies where you are sure of how it works.
Very good point, Zoya. That always use the terminology only and only if you know that. That's a very good point, Zoya. Zoya, would you mind to explain this answer once again for our students, because it is a bit technical. So people who are following you, they will be able to understand it.
Okay, so here, this is what I would answer again. So if I was given a feedback text from our ecosystem or our organization of the student feedback, I would clean the text by removing the stop words and the meaningless words and punctuations. Then I would use techniques like ITF, IDF to convert it into numerical features. I train a sentiment analysis model using logistic regression or naive Bayes to classify those reviews into positive, negative, or neutral. For better accuracy, I would explore something on the lines of BERT.
Got it. Thank you, Zoya. Appreciate it. I think people are taking down the notes who actually can expect this. Now, the eighth question is, if your model shows 95% of accuracy, but the company still faces the prediction issues, how would you investigate this? Let me again repeat this question. If your model shows 95% of accuracy, but the company still faces prediction issues, how would you investigate?
So again, a technical question in a scenario-based way. That is, I would tell it in this way. Okay, so here the focus would be on your confusion matrix and your performance accuracy scores. That is what they're trying to test here. So I would answer in this way. I'd check if the data set is imbalanced. So accuracy might be misleading, maybe because, for example, if it's a fraud detection, right? If it's a credit card company, if it's a fraud detection, so predicting everything as not fraud is a high accuracy scenario, but it is giving zero value to the company. So I would review the precision scores, the recall scores, the F1 scores, and also look into the confusion matrix to see where the model is failing. I might also try resampling the data set in order to get a good accuracy, which is not misleading. So here you are, if you have not even, if this is a scenario based question in a way that you might not have come across, but the only reason they're asking you this is to check your technical skills on performance measurement of your model.
Got it. Got it. Sure. Thank you, Zoya. I mean, this is a little technical. I mean, it's gonna people who are going through our AI and program and they would want to get a job in AI. I think it's totally making sense to them.
I
Okay.
can repeat it if you want to,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
answer.
that'll be helpful. Yeah, that'll be helpful.
So this is what I would answer. I check if the data set is imbalanced. So the accuracy can be misleading. For example, in fraud detection, predicting everything as not fraud could give high accuracy, but zero value. So anything that is high accuracy, but it is not giving value to your company, it doesn't make sense. So I would review the precision scores, the recall scores, the F1 scores, and also look into the confusion matrix to see where the model is failing. If I find something, we again use resampling methods in order to solve the imbalance issue.
Okay, great. Thank you, Zoya. Now, what challenges do you think can occur while working with large data sets and how would you overcome them? Let me repeat this question. What challenges do you think can occur while working with large data sets and how would you overcome them?
So large data sets can cause challenges like slow processing, memory issues, and noisy data. And to handle them, I'd use efficient libraries like Pandas and NumPy. And for very large data sets, I'd use distributed systems like Spark. I'd also work on cleaning the data and the feature selection to reduce unnecessary complexities. So with this, you are telling again, for small data sets, you will use technologies like Pandas and NumPy where your problem is solved. If it is a complex issue and if you have distributed systems that the company is using, then you tell that Spark can also be used. But I would like to add one thing. Spark is something you learn on the field. Like basically, when you're working, that's when you get hands-on practice with Spark because it's live data that you are analyzing. But if you even mention here Spark, they know that supposing they do give you something of a distributed system, you know what tool to use. So if you want me to repeat it, I can do that again.
Okay, so basically, first of all, you mentioned about three problems. The challenges what you will face with the large data set is slow processing and noisy data. And what is the third one, Zoya?
The noisy data, slow processing, memory issues.
Memory issues. So three issues we can face with large data set. But if you want to solve this large data set problem, if the data is not very large, then I think you use Panda and NumPy, correct?
Yes,
And
yes,
if the data set is very large, then you use Spark system. But Spark system you cannot set up in your lab environment because it is used only and only in the production environment. So you will be using on the job. So you can mention this to show that you are aware of what tool you should use if there's a large data set. Correct?
yes.
Wonderful. This is a good answer. Thank you. Okay. Can you explain the difference between normalization and standardization?
So this is a direct technical question, so you can directly answer this. So normalization rescales the data to a fixed range that is from 0 to 1, and it's useful when features are on very different scales. like from ages or income. So ages can be from 0 to 100, income can be 0 to $1 million. Standardization transforms the data so that it can have a mean of 0 and standard deviation of 1. It works well when data roughly follows a normal distribution and is often used in algorithms of logistic regression and SVMs. And both the methods improve model performance by ensuring no single feature dominates because of its scale.
Okay. So, would you mind to talk about standardization once again, Zoya, in your own words, if you don't mind?
So standardization, ideally, you're doing something called as column standardization. So in column standardization, you will have huge amounts of data sets, and those data values can be really huge, which is difficult for the computer or the computer. It is computationally heavy. So what we do is we have to standardize them, which is a technique where the columns are going to have mean, which is a standard. It is basically a statistical mean. That is a statistical mathematical term, which is mean. You make it to 0 and make the standard deviation to 1. So now your entire data has a normal distribution. Once your data is normally distributed, then you can use any of the algorithms which you will learn of your logistic regression or SVM, any of these. So the idea behind standardization is just that your values, one value should not dominate the other value. So
Got
a
it.
20K value should not be dominated over a 30K. So 20K salary should not be dominated over 30K. But when you see it as 0.2 and 0.3, they're similar. So it's a lower range. Even a salary of 20K is lower salary. Even a salary of 30K is lower salary. So both of them will fall into similar range of 0.2 and 0.3, like that.
Got it. Got it. Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Zoya, for answering this question. Okay. So, what do you understand by overfitting and underfitting? How we prevent them?
So overfitting means happens when the model, you're basically learning the model too well. Your data training is too well, which is not good. That is, you're including the noise, you're including all the possibilities, and this doesn't perform well on any of the new data that the model has not seen. And underfitting happens when the model is too simple and it is undertrained and it fails to capture any of the pattern. And to prevent overfitting, you would use techniques like cross-validation. There is regularization as well. And to avoid underfitting, you would try some other complex models, or maybe you could add on more features or better features in order to capture other features so that the model doesn't undertrain.
Okay, great. So, guys, I mean, I know that this is actually getting very technical for people who have not experienced AI, ML, and data science. People who are already doing AI programs, I'm sure that you are aware of these terminologies. I'm mentioning this because you might have to go through this video again, because I know that the questions, like after five, we have kept like technical questions so that you guys are able to, watch it again when you get the recordings. Okay. But it's okay. I mean, at least you're getting aware of some of the terminologies, but that's completely okay. Yep. Okay. What is the difference between structured and unstructured data? I mean, this is a simple question which anyone can expect. And can you give some examples, Zoya? Structured and unstructured data.
So a structured data is basically anything that's organized, which is under rows and columns. Like you have your SQL tables containing any sort of sales numbers or customer details or any Excel sheets that you see. All of those are structured data. Unstructured data is basically that doesn't have any predefined format. So for example, if you have a text or images or audio or video signals, these are all unstructured. So for example, if you're having exam scores, those are all structured feedback. While like the example that we gave, exam scores of a student would be a structured feedback. But the comments that reviews, the previous reviews that we got, the student feedback that you get, that is going to be unstructured, and that's where you use your NLP techniques.
Got it. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Switch from non-IT to IT today. Explore www.thinkcloudly.com.